It is possible to pay 0% tax and still be a global citizen. In today's day and age, so many tax laws are changing, and traditional tax havens that we usually think of when we think of low or no tax are having to succumb to certain governing body pressures, meaning that they likely have to increase or start having some sort of taxation. However, in today's video, I'm going to be diving into how you can pay absolutely 0% tax in Paraguay. Before we dive in, I'm Nicole of Work, Wealth, and Travel. If you're looking to become a global citizen and looking for global citizen diversification, whether that be residencies, citizenships, multiple bank accounts, having real estate and diversifying that way in other countries, among so many others, we at Work, Wealth, and Travel can help you. All of our links are below, but let's dive into it. So Paraguay is a territorial tax country. However, it is a 10% tax rate country. It does have a 10% tax rate, which if you ask me is a pretty good tax rate. However, if you are not a citizen of Paraguay, if you are not born here, you can potentially benefit from having 0% tax. This can be done through a combination of setting up your business in the right country and then having your residency and your tax residency in the right country as well. So what are the first steps that you will need to utilize in order to take advantage of this? The first step you're going to have to do is to cut ties with your home country. Every single country has different requirements as to what it can look like in order to cut ties for that country. So you may have to do some research, or you can work with us and we can help you along the pathway to what cutting those ties would look like. But that is absolutely the first step that you're going to want to do before getting into any of these other steps. You have to officially be a non-resident and a non-tax resident of your home country or of the country where you previously were, because obtaining the Paraguay residency and tax residency is a crucial step to your 0% tax journey. The next step is to prepare the documentation in order to arrive in Paraguay and start the process on the ground of getting your residency. Yes, you do need to be present in Paraguay in order to get TR or PR, and we help with both. Most people will go the TR route. However, if you are looking to start a business or make an investment in Paraguay, then the PR route could potentially be a good option for you. And if you are looking for help along this path, then we can absolutely help you. Now, you can come on the ground in Paraguay and you can do the process yourself. However, I have heard and also seen in the Facebook group so many others who have done this process who often will get the document either rejected or the documentation will be stalled while they are waiting for additional documentation. So you will have to run around, get that additional documentation, submit it back to the government, and hope that the application is not rejected so that you will have to start again. If you want to mitigate this process completely, we can help you on the ground in Paraguay with our team to get your cedula, to get your residency, and to get your tax residency. Now, you will need to physically be in Paraguay from anywhere from 2 to 3 days in order to get the documents submitted on your behalf, which our team will do for you. The process actually only takes a few short hours. However, you want to make sure that the submission process went okay and that it was accepted by the government. So I recommend staying a few more days in Paraguay just in case. If you are looking to speed up the process, you can get not only your residency, but also your tax residency and your tax ID in only 2 months' time. However, if you go the traditional route, it will take anywhere from 4 to 5 months. And that, again, does depend on the average wait time and how many applications are in the system now. And trust me when I say there are only becoming more and more applications every single month. But if you want it in only 2 months for your residency and your tax residency, we can help you. The next step, once you have established your residency and tax residency here in Paraguay, is you are going to want to set up your US LLC. Now, the state where you're going to set up your LLC is dependent on your business and the nature of your business activities. So that can vary, but there are quite a few beneficial states in the US where you can then flow through, not only pay 0% tax on the ground for sales tax in that state, but it will flow through into your personal residency, which, being here in Paraguay, you will then pay 0% because your money is not physically coming into Paraguay, which is a territorial tax country. If you do have business operations here in Paraguay, and yes, I am here in Asuncion now, then what I would recommend is for you to look into not only setting up your US LLC, but also setting up a Paraguayan EAS corporation. So once you have that, you will be double secure, and you need to be a resident in order to open an EAS, so that process will already be checked off for you. If you do have operations here on the ground, if you are looking to open business bank accounts and have more ties to Paraguay, whether business or personal, I highly recommend setting up both of those, and we can help you with that if that is of interest to you. So some FAQs. Now, 2 FAQs that I get all the time, and that is not an exaggeration, I literally get them almost daily, is asking about bank accounts and asking about citizenship. And while Paraguay does allow you to have residency, it is much more difficult to get both bank accounts and or citizenship. So let's dive into banking first. If you are a Paraguay resident and want to have your cedula, you will then be able to open the fintech bank account, which quite honestly require almost no additional documentation other than your cedula. So while this is a fairly easy account to open, you want to not be keeping too much money in the account. That is my personal recommendation. And you want to have an additional bank account in Paraguay. However, having any bank account in Paraguay, especially on one of the bigger banks such as an Itaú, is going to be very, very difficult. Especially if you don't have any business activity, if you don't truly live in Paraguay, if you don't own property and have true ties for many years to the country, it's going to be very difficult in order to open up a bank account. So what I recommend is opening up one of the fintech banks such as Bueno. However, if you're really looking for secure banking options, Paraguay is not going to be the country for you, and that is just the reality of it. However, if you do have a business and you do have an EAS corporation set up in Paraguay, we will then be able to help you to get a bank account on behalf of the business. And no, this is unfortunately not always a straightforward process. Just because you have a business in Paraguay does not mean that you will automatically be entitled to a bank account. However, we can help you to open a bank account on behalf of your business once it has been in business for a while. The next question I always get is regarding citizenship. Now, citizenship in Paraguay is only available if the country has a bilateral agreement with your country. And currently, Paraguay only has a bilateral agreement with Spain and with Italy. So you are eligible for dual citizenship if you hold a Spanish or Italian passport. However, of course, before getting any additional passports, you want to make sure that you're planning that properly. And if you are going to be looking into obtaining future passports, you're going to want to think about if Paraguay is the right option for you now. If you don't hold one of those 2 passports, legally, citizenship is not available to you. So unfortunately, while the residency program is available to almost anyone, it is important to note that citizenship is available to almost no one. Another question I get asked quite a lot is regarding scams. And yes, there are unfortunately so many scams. You will see online, you will see on the Facebook group for expats in Asuncion, how many scams there are out there. Many providers here, providers in air quotes, know that many foreigners are coming into Paraguay to get residency, and a lot of them are not staying here full time. So they will scam you out of an initial deposit or an initial installment. I do highly recommend using a service provider, especially if you value your time for this process, because it can be much more lengthy and potentially take a lot longer for you if you do it on your own. However, be cautious of the service providers that you are using. Myself and my team on the ground here in Paraguay, whether it be for residents, for tax ID, for a business opening, for a business bank opening, and for various other objectives in the country, we can help you. I have built out a solid team and network here on the ground in Paraguay, and I can absolutely tell you they are amazing at what they do. And while Paraguay offers a great residency program and what I personally like to call a great starting option, If you are on this global citizen diversification journey, Paraguay is not the only option that you're going to want on your radar. There are also so many other amazing programs right now as of 2024 in Latin America, and I recommend if you are interested in residency stacking, working your way towards additional citizenships, to get on these programs ASAP. I've been living this global citizen life for 7 years now, and when I left my home country, there were so many more programs. Not only that, but banking was also so much easier than what I have seen it change from in the last 7 years. So this is my word of caution to you if you are interested in obtaining additional bank accounts, residencies, citizenships, real estate investments in markets as well. I highly recommend to do that now. We never know when these programs can change, and almost always they are not going to change for your favor. If you're interested in becoming, or if you already are a global citizen, hit subscribe to the channel. I would love to have you here and to share all of the knowledge that I have accumulated over the last 7 years and counting of my personal global citizen diversification journey. You can also find me on all of the platforms, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, all of the above, as Work, Wealth, and Travel. Also, check out the podcast, Work, Wealth, and Travel, which is now linked on this YouTube channel, but is also on Spotify, Apple, and anywhere else you potentially listen to your podcast. Thank you for joining me here today. Hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.